the earlier years of your career different from the later stages of your career?
In particular, when I started in the defense industry, that was really a man's world. I think of my age, there was just one other woman over thousands of employees in the affiliate I was working with. And it was very, very difficult to be heard. Very difficult to just be a woman there. So I can't say I was harassed, but you sit at a table and it's just you and 10 middle-aged men, and they start making jokes about women, about certain things, and I started being uncomfortable. And I was lucky enough that I had the courage to speak up and say, well, I actually don't think that's funny. And they were nice enough to realize, oh, actually, it's not for her. So they stopped. And from that day on, it worked well. But it was, I must say, it was very, very difficult to get heard in the first, probably in the first 6 or 8 months of entering this company. Even though I already had experience as a lawyer, I was, in prestigious law firms, etc.
To me, it is really about a change in the workplace culture. Earlier in my career, what I've seen in terms of leadership were strong leaders with vision and good skills or excellent skills, using as management techniques more the carrots and the stick. Whereas nowadays, we are really on a positive culture, positive leadership, where leaders do not express a superiority necessary to their teams, but are really part of the team. And their job is to make everyone feel included, to make differences being valued, and to make everyone being able to deliver their best. And very early in my career, I had at that time a lot of difficulties to see myself as a team leader, because the one I observed, I didn't feel that it didn't seem appealing to me. The leadership style that was expressed was good, but it was not a style that I felt empowered with and that I wanted to strive in. So early career impact to me was really about developing my skills, observing a lot, gaining maturity and experience. And I want really to say that every experience is a good experience and make you stronger.
Did you feel like your gender or age ever put you at a disadvantage early on? And if yes, how?
I had once an experience where I asked for a promotion, which I thought I deserved, because, I think we all realize at one point that it's sometimes you have to ask. And the response in front of me was, oh, but your husband is making enough money and you have your children. Or your child at the time, I think it was just, and I was like, hey, yeah, but we're speaking about work, we're speaking about my competence, we're speaking about my position in the company, we're speaking about being equal to actually males that had just been promoted. And I was like, why am I not promoted? So I had to fight for that. And I think you have to speak up and you have to defend yourself and go back to the essentials, your competence, the work you're doing. And that's the reality. It's not whether, potentially you're going to spend time with your children. That's your private life. That's how you manage it. But what are you doing at work? And this is what counts.
Even I was young and I looked younger, than being in a room with more experienced people, there is a natural implicit bias that people have or may have, that you don't know, you don't have that maturity, or you don't have that strategic thinking skills, for example. And what I've learned across the years is really not to be afraid to raise my voice, to bring my point of view and perspective, and to ask questions as well. Because not only the more you do it, the more natural it comes after, so you build that skills and that confidence. But it also shows to the team very early on that, well, actually, there is a perspective, there is a point of view, and maybe it's a different one, but difference means good. I cannot say that being a woman was more difficult for me to have a place or to evolve in the career. When I became pregnant, because I've always been so devoted to my work, I wanted to come to work even harder in spite of my pregnancy. And I was very scared of getting out in maternity leave and take a few months, even if I was so happy to be pregnant and wanted to take time with my family. The other thing is coming back to work. And at that time, I came back to work where my son was 3 months and a half old, which is very young. And I worked, and by choice, 100%. And I was in Paris. My husband is working also 100%. And so you have all this environment situation around that. So to me, I wanted to work and I wanted to go back to work. That was very important. The challenge was that I had to fight to recover the trust within the team, or to express, yes, it's not because I have a kid that I don't want to work. Yes, maybe sometimes I'm tired because I wake up in the night, because yes, kids are kids. But I always try not to split my private life with my professional life. This was a way for me to protect myself in the workplace, because I didn't want anyone to think of me, or to deteriorate the work that I'm doing or the achievements that I was doing for a private reason or implicit bias because of my kids or whatever. But I have to say it was challenging.
What should governments do to better support gender equality at workplace?
I am very much for incentives, but I'm not for quotas. There should be incentives to make sure that companies want to hire women. So, you know, it can be done through various things. But I would say, yeah, I would say quotas, I think, are too general and blind to competence. So I'm always relying a lot on competence. Also, I think, generally speaking, about governments, leading by example. So what our governments look like? Is there a woman in a high position? Is there a woman, as you know, in a low position? Show us the example. Recruit people that are competent, that are bright, that will lead the way to show that women can do, you know, can have these positions. I think that to me is a very strong message, and maybe stronger than imposing quotas, because again, quotas, people can say, well, you know, then it's not based on competence, it's just numbers, and you recruit, you know, and it doesn't showcase that women actually are super competent and can do it, and that it's better to have diversity. I think another thing that governments can do is also to show results. If you look at women, is it better working if you have a board of mixed genders? Is it not working that well if you have only males or only females? I think you can do studies to show that, and also educate from an early stage in schools to show that yes, they are great women. They are very competent. They can be bright. They can be presidents. They can be prime ministers. And to just showcase that, I think for me that would certainly help, and I think it's happening more and more.
What should companies do to better support gender equality at workplace?
Ensure salary equality. Always consider if a woman is available for the role, and also again showcasing examples, so leading by example, having women in high positions, and you know, giving them space to express themselves and to show that yes, it's possible. You know, you can be the president of the company, you can be on that board, it's completely fine, and you're doing very well.
Or two proposals. One is when a woman expressed that she's pregnant, celebrate it, because it needs to be celebrated. And when the person comes back from maternity leave, celebrate it and make sure that the person is in a warm place to strive. Because again, coming back from maternity leave is an expression of caring about their work, caring about their team, wanting to strive. So it's a strong sign. And the person very often just needs managers and the team to say how happy they are to see them back. And those small things can make a big difference in the day-to-day life and in the work delivery of that person. So that's one thing. I'd like to say also more broadly that managers and leaders should see in their team beyond the work their employees doing. and especially for women. Trust your gut feeling. Look at what the person potential is, and don't look for, oh, that person, or she has done that in the past, so she would be good at that. But go beyond. Trust your instinct. Do the same as you would do for a male or for someone else, saying, well, maybe that person has not done that job exactly, but that person has the potential to be very good and even beyond expectation or beyond delivery for that type of role.
If you were to go back in time to when you started your career, what advice would you give to your younger self?
To advise, so one, you've already heard it through the lines, is, speak up for yourself, even if it's frightening sometimes, even if it's difficult sometimes, even if you would feel, okay, I just want to hide in that corner. Speak up for yourself. That is so important. And also believe in yourself, which is not always easy. I think maybe more difficult sometimes for women, but look at what you've accomplished, look at what you've done, look at what you're capable of doing, and believe in yourself. Not always easy, but if you do that, and if then you speak up, I think then you're on a good path.
Trust your instinct, be confident, take any experience as an experience to learn, continue to observe, and be confident that there are moments for everything in life. There are moments to learn. There are moments where there are challenges, but those challenges can change after a while. And also there are moments where you need to take more time for your family or focus change, but it's fine. A career is a long journey, and it's about taking the best opportunities to learn, to be curious, to observe, so that it makes you a stronger employee, individual, leader, stronger career, and it makes it more fun and more interesting as well.